your thinking, and you can change your life. Every great transformation begins with a thought. Before success appears in your circumstances, it must first appear in your mind. Many people wait for their lives to change. They wait for better opportunities, better circumstances, more money, more support, or someone to come and motivate them. But real change begins when you decide to change the way you think. Your thoughts shape your attitude. Your attitude influences your actions. Your actions create your habits. And your habits eventually shape your future. This is one of the most powerful lessons found in the motivational philosophy of Zig Ziglar. He taught people to believe that success is not simply something that happens to you. Success is something you work toward through the right attitude, clear goals, consistent action, and the willingness to keep moving forward. Think about your own life for a moment. How often have you told yourself, I cannot do this? How often have you looked at a difficult situation and immediately imagined failure? How often have you compared your journey with someone else's and decided that you were not good enough? These thoughts may seem small, but repeated thoughts become beliefs. And beliefs can become invisible limits. A person who constantly thinks, I am not capable, will eventually stop trying. A person who thinks, I always fail, may give up before the real opportunity even arrives. But a person who begins saying, I can learn, I can improve, I can try again, I can become better, opens the door to possibility. This does not mean pretending that problems do not exist. It means refusing to allow problems to control your entire mindset. Life will always contain difficulties. There will be rejection, disappointment, financial pressure, failure, criticism, and unexpected obstacles. The question is not whether difficulties will come. The question is how you will respond when they arrive. Your circumstances may influence you, but they do not have to define you. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can work on controlling your response. You can choose your attitude. You can choose your effort. You can choose whether you will learn from failure or be defeated by it. This is where powerful thinking begins. Positive thinking is not simply repeating beautiful words while doing nothing. Positive thinking is a decision to search for possibility while facing reality. It is looking at a closed door and asking, what can I learn from this? It is facing failure and saying, this is not the end, I can start again. It is looking at weakness and saying, I can develop strength. It is looking at a difficult future and saying, I will prepare myself for it. Your mind is like a garden. What you repeatedly plant will eventually grow. If you fill your mind with fear, comparison, negativity, and excuses, you may begin to see the entire world through those thoughts. But if you feed your mind with knowledge, discipline, faith, hope, gratitude, and purpose, you begin to develop a different way of seeing life. You start noticing opportunities that you once ignored. You begin seeing lessons inside your mistakes. You become more willing to take responsibility for your future. This is why changing your thinking is so powerful. You are not simply changing thoughts. You are changing the lens through which you see yourself and the world around you. Now imagine two people facing the same challenge. Both lose an important opportunity. The first person says, my life is finished. I never get lucky. Nothing works for me. The second person says, this hurts, but I will learn from it. I will improve my preparation and look for another opportunity. The event is the same, but the response is different. And over time, the difference in their thinking can create a completely different future. The first person becomes discouraged and stops moving. The second person continues learning, growing, and searching. That is the power of mindset. Success often belongs not to the person who never experiences failure, but to the person who refuses to let failure become an identity. Failure is an event. It is not your name. It is not your permanent address. It is not proof that you are worthless. Failure can be information. It can show you what needs to change. It can reveal weaknesses. It can teach patience. It can build resilience. And sometimes, the road to success is built from the lessons learned through unsuccessful attempts. But changing your thinking also means changing the way you speak to yourself. Your inner conversation matters. When you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, you begin acting like someone who expects defeat. When you remind yourself that you are learning, you create room for growth. Instead of saying, I am bad at this, say, I am still learning this. Instead of saying, I cannot succeed, say, I will find a way to improve. Instead of saying, everyone is ahead of me. Say, I will focus on my own progress. The words are simple, but the direction is completely different. You are not required to become perfect overnight. You only need to become better than you were yesterday. Small progress is still progress. A single page read today can become a book completed tomorrow. A single disciplined decision can become a powerful habit. A single courageous action can begin a new chapter in your life. Never underestimate small steps because great achievements are usually built from ordinary actions repeated consistently. We often admire successful people because we see the result, but we do not see the thousands of small decisions behind that result. We see the achievement, but not the discipline. We see the confidence, but not the years of practice. We see the success, but not the rejection, the mistakes, the early mornings, the long nights, and the moments when they wanted to quit. Success has a process, and the process begins with your thinking. If you want to change your life, you must begin by asking better questions. Do not only ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Do not only ask, why am I not successful? Ask, what skill do I need to develop? Do not only ask, when will my life change? Ask, what can I change today? Better questions create better thinking. And better thinking leads to better decisions. Your goals also matter. You cannot build a new life with a vague direction. A dream says, I want a better life. A goal says, this is what I am going to accomplish, and this is what I will do to move toward it. Write your goals down. Make them clear. Make them meaningful. Then break them into smaller actions. If your dream feels too large, do not stare at the entire mountain. Focus on the next step. You do not have to climb the whole mountain today. You only have to take today's step. And tomorrow, you take another. One of the greatest enemies of progress is waiting for the perfect moment. There may never be a perfect moment. There will always be reasons to delay. You may feel tired. You may feel afraid. You may think you need more knowledge. You may think someone else is more talented. But confidence often comes after action, not before it. You become confident by doing difficult things. You become stronger by facing challenges. You become disciplined by keeping promises to yourself. The person you want to become is built through the decisions you make today. Do not wait until you feel motivated to begin. Begin, and motivation may follow. Do not wait until you feel confident. Take action, and confidence can grow. Do not wait until fear disappears. Move forward while fear is still present. Courage does not mean having no fear. Courage means refusing to let fear make every decision for you. Your environment also influences your thinking. The people you listen to, the information you consume, and the conversations you repeat can affect your mindset. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, it becomes harder to maintain a positive direction. This does not mean avoiding every person who struggles or every difficult conversation. It means becoming intentional about what you allow to dominate your mind. Read books that challenge you. Listen to people who encourage growth. Learn from people who have experience. Use your time wisely. Your mind is valuable, and what you repeatedly consume matters. In the modern world, it is easy to spend hours comparing yourself with strangers online. You see someone's success, but you do not see their complete story. You see the result, but not the struggle. This can create the illusion that everyone is moving forward except you. But your journey is not supposed to look like someone else's. You have your own starting point, your own responsibilities, your own lessons, and your own timeline. Comparison can steal gratitude. Focus on progress instead. Look at who you were yesterday. Look at what you have learned. Look at the obstacles you have survived. Look at the skills you have developed. You may be much further than you realize. Another powerful change is learning to take responsibility. Responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that happens. It means recognizing the areas where you have influence. You may not control your past, but you can influence your next decision. You may not control other people's opinions, but you can control your response. You may not control every opportunity, but you can prepare yourself for the opportunities that appear. Responsibility gives you power because it moves your attention from what you cannot control to what you can do. This is where excuses lose their strength. An excuse says, there is nothing I can do. Responsibility asks, what can I do now? Maybe you cannot change the entire situation today, but you can make one call. You can study one chapter. You can practice one skill. You can apologize. You can start again. You can take one step. And sometimes one step is enough to change the direction of your life. Do not underestimate the power of consistency. Many people want extraordinary results from ordinary effort. They work hard for a few days and expect their lives to transform. But meaningful change usually requires patience. You must continue when the excitement disappears. You must continue when nobody applauds. You must continue when progress is slow. This is where discipline becomes more important than temporary motivation. Motivation can inspire you, but discipline keeps you moving. When you develop discipline, you stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" You begin asking, "Is this important enough to do?" That question can transform your life. There will be days when you do not feel strong. There will be days when your plans fail. There will be days when you question yourself. On those days, remember your reason. Remember why you started. Remember the future you are trying to build. Remember that one difficult day does not define your entire journey. You can rest without quitting. You can slow down without turning back. You can change your strategy without abandoning your goal. There is a difference between giving up and adjusting your approach. Sometimes the path changes, but the purpose remains. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who learn how to rise. They understand that setbacks are not always signs to stop. Sometimes setbacks are invitations to become wiser. You may lose an opportunity and discover a better direction. You may experience rejection and develop stronger skills. You may make a mistake and learn a lesson that protects you from a larger mistake later. Every experience can become part of your education if you are willing to learn from it. Your attitude toward problems matters. A problem can become a prison or a classroom. The choice depends on how you approach it. If you see every difficulty as proof that life is against you, you will become bitter. But if you see difficulty as an opportunity to develop patience, strength, and wisdom, you can become better through the experience. This is not an easy philosophy. It requires effort. It requires emotional control. It requires patience. But it is powerful because it puts your future back into your hands. Now think about the words, change your thinking, change your life. They do not mean that one positive thought will magically solve every problem. They mean that your thinking influences your choices, and your choices influence your direction. Change your thoughts about failure, and you may change how you respond to failure. Change your thoughts about yourself, and you may change what you believe you are capable of doing. Change your thoughts about your goals, and you may change your level of commitment. Change your thoughts about time, and you may stop wasting the hours that could build your future. Change your thoughts about difficulty, and you may become stronger instead of surrendering. When you begin to think differently, you begin to act differently. And when you act differently consistently, your life begins to move in a different direction. So today, make a decision. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for the perfect circumstances. Decide that you will become more intentional with your thoughts. Decide that you will stop feeding every negative idea. Decide that you will learn from your mistakes. Decide that you will set meaningful goals. Decide that you will take responsibility for your actions. Decide that you will keep moving forward even when progress is slow. You do not need to transform your entire life in one day. You need to transform one decision at a time, one thought at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. And eventually, those small changes can create a life that once seemed impossible. Remember this, your past may explain where you came from, but it does not have to determine where you are going. Your mistakes may be part of your story, but they do not have to be the final chapter. Your current circumstances may be difficult, but they are not necessarily permanent. Your fear may be real, but it does not have to control your future. Your dream may look far away, but every journey begins with a first step. So believe that growth is possible. Believe that learning is possible. Believe that improvement is possible. Believe that your next chapter can be different. Then prove that belief through action. When you change the way you think, you begin to change the way you see. When you change the way you see, you begin to change the way you act. When you change the way you act, you change your habits. And when your habits change, your direction changes. That is how a new life begins. Not with magic, not with luck, not with waiting. It begins with a decision, and that decision can be made today. So change your thinking, change your attitude, change your habits, change your direction, and keep moving.